Imagine waking up, and the world just feels heavy. You've had your coffee. You slept 8 hours. But there is a thick, invisible wall between you and your own thoughts. You're looking at your computer screen, but the words aren't quite landing. You walk into a room and completely forget why you're there. You feel like you're moving through knee-deep water while everyone else is running on dry land. This isn't just being tired. This is brain fog. For most of you, the fog hasn't just arrived. It has moved in and unpacked its bags. It's been weeks, months, maybe even years since you felt truly sharp, capable, and mentally agile. You've tried the vitamins. You've tried doubling your caffeine intake. You might even have been told by a professional that it's just stress or a natural part of getting older. But here's the truth. Your brain fog isn't a mystery, and it isn't a permanent defect. It is a calculated biological response to a specific set of modern signals. Your brain isn't broken. It's actually protecting itself from an environment it was never built to navigate. Today, we are going to look at the 3 hidden drivers of chronic brain fog that almost everyone ignores. These aren't the typical tips you hear about drinking more water. We are going deep into the neurochemistry of your focus, and more importantly, I'm going to give you the exact protocol to clear the mist and get your cognitive edge back. The first reason your brain fog won't go away is something called dopamine dysregulation. Most people think of dopamine as pleasure. It isn't. Dopamine is the molecule of motivation, anticipation, and seeking. Currently, we are living in a digital environment meticulously designed to harvest every single drop of dopamine your brain can produce. Every time you scroll a short-form video, check a notification, or refresh a social feed, your brain gets a tiny, unnatural hit, but there's a biological cost for every peak. To prevent your system from burning out from overstimulation, your brain downregulates its receptors. It literally turns down the volume on your ability to feel motivated or stay focused. When your dopamine receptors are fried, your prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for high-level logic, complex decision-making, and impulse control, essentially goes offline. That hazy out-of-it feeling, that is the sound of your brain's reward center being utterly exhausted. You aren't losing your intelligence, you're losing your access to it because your brain has entered a state of low-power mode just to survive the digital onslaught. The second reason is deeper and more physical: neuroinflammation. There is a common misconception that the brain is isolated from the rest of the body. In reality, when your body is inflamed, your brain is inflamed. Your brain has its own dedicated immune system, led by specialized cells called microglia. In a healthy, balanced state, these cells act like gardeners. They prune old neural connections and keep the environment tidy so signals can travel fast. But when these cells are activated by poor gut health, chronic psychological stress, or diets high in processed sugars, they stop being gardeners and start being soldiers. They release inflammatory cytokines that create a sort of molecular smog in your head. This inflammation physically slows down the speed at which your neurons fire. It increases the resistance of the signals moving across your synapses. Recent studies have shown that even mild, low-grade systemic inflammation can reduce the thickness of your cortex over time. This leads to that specific feeling of mental fatigue, where even a simple conversation feels like you're climbing a mountain. The final piece of the puzzle is your circadian rhythm. And no, this isn't just about the number of hours you spend in bed. It's about the precise timing of your light exposure and how it coordinates your internal chemistry. Your brain has a master clock called the SCN. It relies on specific wavelengths of blue light from the sun in the morning to set your focus timers and trigger the release of cortisol. It also relies on the absolute absence of that light at night to start the internal cleaning process. During deep sleep, your brain activates the glymphatic system. Think of this as a biological dishwasher for your head. It uses cerebrospinal fluid to literally wash away metabolic waste and toxic proteins that build up during the day. If you're looking at a smartphone screen at 11 p.m., you are sending a signal to your SCN that it is midday. The cleaning crew never shows up. You wake up the next morning with the trash from yesterday still sitting in your neural pathways. That is the literal physical definition of brain fog. So how do we fix it? We don't need a miracle. We need a tactical reset. Here are 3 things you can do to clear the fog in the next 48 hours. Number 1, a digital fast. For the next 48 hours, you must eliminate all short-form content and infinite scrolling. No reels, no shorts, no ticking clocks. If you need to work, use a desktop computer and keep your phone in another room. Your goal here is to let those exhausted dopamine receptors breathe and recalibrate to a normal baseline. Number 2, anti-inflammatory buffer. For 2 days, you're going to cut out all refined sugars and industrial seed oils. These are the primary fuels for neuroinflammation. Instead, flood your system with high-quality fats like avocado, olive oil, and wild-caught fish. Your brain is 60% fat by weight. You need to give it the high-quality building blocks. It needs to repair those inflamed microglia and restore signal speed. Number 3, fix your light exposure. This is non-negotiable. You must get 15 minutes of direct sunlight, not through a window or a windshield, within 30 minutes of waking up. This anchors your master clock, flushes out residual adenosine, and triggers the natural cortisol spike you need for sharp morning clarity. Brain fog is a signal, not a sentence. It's your brain's only way of telling you that your current environment is biologically unsustainable. If you take the artificial pressure off your reward system, cool down the internal inflammation, and respect your biological clock, the fog will lift. The cognitive clarity you're looking for hasn't disappeared. It's still there, waiting. You just have to stop blocking the light. By the way, if you want to systematically clear mental fog and optimize your cognitive function, grab the Brain Repair Protocol for free, linked in the description below. That's it for this video. If you're interested in improving your brain function and brain health, subscribe for more.